What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. We are going strong all the way into the end of the month, and today is July 17th. So my God, we are almost there. And I'll tell you what, I'm ready for it because my skin is not having it with me putting makeup on it every single day. It is just, I'm going to bed with those star patch pimple patches on my face every night, and my skin is fighting me. I'll just leave it at that. But you know what else is fighting? Markeith Loyd. This case, another one here in my hometown, Orlando, Florida. I remember this case, and I remember how some people may take this the wrong way. Some people, everybody is obviously entitled to their own opinion, but I have to say it. And I was just rewatching some of the interrogation footage and body cam of Markeith Loyd, and I'm very disappointed in how the police handled this man. Now, I know that there are going to be people that are going to say this man killed his pregnant girlfriend and then killed an officer. And I get that 1000%. I will be the first one to be like, throw them to the fire because they are horrible humans, right? But we also take an oath, right? If you're a police officer, you take an oath to protect and serve our community. And I can understand having an underlying anger towards this man. He just killed one of your fellow officers. He also killed, prior to that, a month prior to that, he killed his pregnant girlfriend. I get it. But at the same time, you have a job to do and you're expected to behave in a manner. And I just got a little glimpse. I haven't watched all of the footage because it is it's pretty lengthy. I'm going to link it in the description box. I think it's about 2 hours long. And I was actually watching / listening to it while I was getting ready to film this. And I don't know. I don't like how they handled it in the beginning. And that's just my honest opinion. So this is the case of Markeith Loyd. I am back to reading on paper today. So if you see me looking down, that is what I am doing. I probably will look cross-eyed to you though. So Markeith Loyd is an American convicted murderer who was sentenced to death for the murder of Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton. Loyd was found guilty in November for the January 2017 killing of Lieutenant Clayton and was sentenced to death following a unanimous jury recommendation in December. He is already serving a life sentence for the murder of his pregnant ex-girlfriend, Sade Dixon, whom he killed a month prior to Clayton's murder. Loyd was apprehended while on the run for Dixon's murder after a shopper at a Walmart spotted him and alerted Lieutenant Clayton, who was also at the store. A shootout ensued, resulting in Clayton's death. During the trial, it was revealed that Loyd shot Clayton 4 times, with the fatal shot fired as he stood over her in the parking lot. Loyd's defense argued that he was acting in self-defense and was insane at the time of the shooting, believing that the police were trying to kill him. His mental health has been a subject of scrutiny throughout the legal proceedings. Loyd also claimed self-defense in the shootout of Dixon and her brother, who was injured. His arrest was controversial as he sustained injuries, including the loss of an eye during his arrest, which involved officers beating and kicking him. That is another thing. Police brutality is a real thing. And anybody who wants to link that with this world that we live in, everybody has to put people in a box. If you know me, you've been following me for a long time, you know that I am not about being put in a box. And I can have an opinion about something and not belong to this party or that party or here or there. That's one thing no one's going to do to me is put me in a box. But police brutality is just, it's real and it exists. And I understand wholeheartedly people being enraged by their fellow officer being killed horrifically. But we still, I say we as if I'm a police officer, I'm definitely not. You're supposed to uphold a certain degree of professionalism. And these types of incidents is what causes outrage in a community. Call it whatever you want, but I know the man was dangerous. I know all of that, but I just don't agree, and it will never sit right with me, of police abusing their power. The murder of Sade Dixon on the night of December 13th, 2016, 24-year-old Sade Dixon, a pregnant mother of 2 children aged 2 and 8, was shot and killed at her home in Pine Hills area in Orange County. Dixon was 3 months pregnant at the time of her death. Markeith Dixon's 41-year-old ex-boyfriend was identified as a suspect and was considered armed and dangerous. According to the Orange County Sheriff's Office, Loyd arrived at Dixon's home around 9:15 p.m. and knocked on the door. When Dixon opened the door, Loyd shot her 8 times. Witnesses reported hearing around 10 gunshots. Dixon's 26-year-old brother, Ronald Stewart, heard the commotion and attempted to intervene, only to be shot by Loyd as well. Stewart was taken to Orlando Regional Medical Center in critical condition, but was expected to make a full recovery. Dixon's parents, Stephanie Dixon Daniels and Ron Dixon, held a news conference urging the shooter to turn himself in. They described their daughter as a phenomenal woman who was hardworking, dedicated, unique, and strong-minded. The family also called for an end of violence, stating that retaliation would not bring their daughter back. On the morning of January 9th, 2017, around 7:15 a.m., Lieutenant Deborah Clayton was leaving a Walmart on John Young Parkway when a woman informed her that Markeith Loyd, who was wanted for the murder of his pregnant ex-girlfriend Sade Dixon, was in line at the store. Loyd was dressed in camouflage pants, black shoes, and a black shirt with the word security printed on it. He was also wearing a bulletproof vest similar to those used by Orlando Police Department. According to the police reports, Clayton pursued Loyd, who drew his gun and fired 3 rounds at her as she turned to run toward the parking lot. One bullet struck Clayton in her right hip, causing her to fall and hit her face on the pavement. While on the ground, Clayton fired 7 shots at Loyd, who circled around her and fired multiple rounds. Clayton was struck 4 times, once in the hip, another bullet shattered her hip bone, one in the thigh, and the fatal shot went through her neck and lodged in her shoulder. The medical examiner's office determined that the fatal shot was fired while Loyd stood over Clayton. 3 officers attempted CPR on Clayton until paramedics arrived and took her to Orlando Regional Medical Center, where she was pronounced dead at 7:40 a.m. So she was in the Walmart around 7:15 a.m. and she was dead by 7:40 a.m. Both Clayton and Loyd fired their weapons 8 times during the exchange. Loyd used the same gun that he used to kill Sade Dixon. After the shooting, Loyd fled the scene in a dark green Mercury. He later fired shots at a deputy in an unmarked car and carjacked a 2013 Volkswagen Passat at gunpoint. Holy shit. Okay. Didn't know all that. The car was later found abandoned at Brookside Apartments with Loyd's clothes inside. A hole in his shirt indicated that he had been shot in the chest, but his bulletproof vest prevented any injury. On January 17, 2017, Markeith Loyd was added to the U.S. Marshals Service list of the top 15 most wanted individuals in the nation. The U.S. Marshals Service also added $25,000 to the existing $100,000 reward for information leading to Loyd's arrest. Orlando Police Chief John Mina expressed frustration over the fact that Loyd had not been captured, despite receiving more than 1,400 tips. Some of these tips led authorities to believe that Loyd had attempted to disguise himself by shaving his head. A digitally altered photo of Loyd without hair was released to aid in his identification. Loyd was described as weighing between 180 and 200 pounds and being over 6 feet tall. He was a big guy, with a raised scar on his left hand. Chief Mina emphasized that the search for Loyd would continue relentlessly. We just need that right piece of information to bring him in, Mina said. Authorities warned the public not to approach Loyd as he was considered armed and dangerous. On January 17, 2017, Markeith Loyd was captured and arrested by the Orlando Police Department. He was found in an abandoned house on 1157 Lescott Lane in Carver Shores. Loyd emerged from the house wearing body armor and armed with 2 guns, one of which had a 100-round capacity. He initially tried to escape through the back of the house, but eventually surrendered at the front door, dropping his firearms. Helicopter footage showed Loyd crawling on his stomach toward the police officers surrounding the residence. During the arrest, one officer appeared to kick Loyd, who was lying flat on his stomach. Police Sheriff Mina held a news conference to address the content of the video and provide further details on Loyd's arrest. Mina stated that officers were concerned Loyd may have been hiding something in his body armor. A large bag of ammunition was found underneath Loyd when he was apprehended. Loyd did not comply with the officer's demands to put his hands behind his back, leading to the use of force. Mina stood behind the actions of the arresting officers and stated that the investigation into the use of force would be conducted. All officers involved in the arrest remained on duty. Orlando Police Chief John Mina announced that Loyd was arrested using the handcuffs of Lieutenant Deborah Clayton, the officer he was accused of killing. This act was described as a long-standing tradition in law enforcement to honor fallen officers. Loyd was taken to Orlando Regional Medical Center for treatment of minor facial injuries before being transferred to Orange County Jail. No law enforcement officers were injured during this capture. During his first court appearance, Loyd appeared with a bandage over his left eye, abrasions and swelling on his face. He claimed that his eye was taken, his nose and jaw were broken, and accused the police of excessive force. Mina, however, described Loyd's injuries as minor and stated that more charges would be filed no later than Monday in relation to Clayton's death. Orange County Sheriff Jerry Dimmings announced that Loyd would be charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with a firearm, 2 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm, and 1 count of attempted murder. Additional charges were expected. Despite a $125,000 reward offered for information leading to Loyd's arrest, sources indicated that no one would be rewarded the crime line money, as the arrest was due to law enforcement investigative tactics. Orange County Commissioner Regina Hill expressed gratitude to the various levels of law enforcement involved in Loyd's capture, stating that she is forever grateful for them bringing this cold-blooded killer to justice. Let's go ahead and watch Markeith Loyd's first arraignment.
Good morning, sir. Can you please tell me your name?
My name is Markeith Loyd.
Officers, can you pull the mic a little bit closer? Good morning, Mr. Loyd. You're here for first appearances. Pursuant to an arrest warrant for events occurring on December 13th of 2006, count 1, first-degree murder with a firearm. Count 2, killing an unborn child by injury to a mother. Count 3, attempted first-degree murder with a firearm. Count 4, aggravated assault with a firearm. And finally, count 5, aggravated assault with a firearm. Again, PC was found because this was pursuant to a warrant. Sir, you are entitled to the services of a public defender. It's my understanding that you did not want to fill out an application. Do you want a public defender appointed to represent you, Mr. Loyd? Okay, and do you plan to hire your own attorney?
I'm defending myself.
You're going to defend yourself pro se. And what's the highest grade that you've completed in school, Mr. Loyd? Have you ever represented yourself in a criminal case before? Do you know the maximum penalties associated with these offenses?
It don't matter.
Okay. Can you read, write, and understand the English language? And you believe you can defend yourself? And you understand that you have, you understand the nature of these offenses, sir?
Say it again.
And you understand this nature and severity of these offenses, sir? Are you sure you don't want a public defender appointed to represent you? I'm sorry, sir, what did you say?
Nothing.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to go ahead and do.
Well, first of all, I got questions to ask.
You're here for first appearances on a warrant, sir.
Y'all making up shit like I just went in there and shot this girl, endangering my family.
Okay, a judge is a...
What if other people want to do something back? Y'all portray this shit to the news people like I just went in there and shot this girl when there was other guns found on the scene. and all kinds of gun was pulled on me for it, but y'all acting like I just went there and shot her. Her little brother got dropped off while me and her was standing there talking. So there's all kind of other shit that happened before y'all just put on news. Oh, I just went there and shot this girl, got my family at danger. So no, I wasn't coming in right
State's
then.
requesting Mr. Loyd be placed under oath before any further proceedings.
He's already been placed under oath.
Under oath.
Everything you say is being recorded, sir. So,
Yeah, she should know that. She a lawyer. What's she talking for?
so here's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead.
I'm not finished talking because y'all been making up shit the whole time, and then y'all make up stuff on my family, lock them up because my check. I work. I work 2-3 jobs. I work and I work for that money, and that's why he gave that money to my daughter, and he gave my niece the other half because he didn't give my daughter all of it. That money was not for me.
All right. Here's what I'm going to go
I
ahead
didn't
and
see nothing from nobody. I was out there by myself. How in the hell anybody helping me doing anything? I went to Walmart myself to buy food. Wasn't nobody doing nothing for me.
So we're only addressing the one case, and I told you what you're here for.
Y'all know about all y'all lies y'all doing. I don't care.
I'm gonna
I don't
set-
care nothing about none of that.
On counts 1, 2, and 3, bond is going to be set at no bond. Additionally, on counts 4 and 5, I'll set bond at $1,500 apiece, totaling no bond plus $3,000. Additionally, I'm ordering some special conditions. You are not to contact Ronald Stewart, the victim in one of these counts. Additionally, you are not to contact any witnesses or victims' family members, Ms. Dixon's family members. I want to be clear on this. You are not to have any contact, whether it's third-party contact through other people, no telephone communication. I'll have him read that in just a moment. You're not to contact Dominique Daniels, Stephanie Dixon Daniels, Ron Daniels, or her children. There is a form there that you're going to need to sign off on. I'm going to go ahead and we'll give you a court date sometime out. It'll be on the paperwork for determination of counsel.
And then when they had me in the hospital, the Channel 9 News sent out their way for me to come out to see what they did for me. Or they done took my eye. They done broke my nose, broke my jaw. They did all this shit till I resisted, but I crawled out to the motherfucking road. So how did I resist? I ain't resist shit. They just did that shit. They tried to hide it from the news people, but I'm here right now.
Corrections, I think we've established everything we need to do in a first appearance hearing. He can be taken after he signs. Have him sign the no contact.
Markeith Loyd was sentenced to death for the fatal shooting of Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton in January 2017. A jury had found Loyd, aged 46, guilty in November and unanimously recommended a death sentence during a hearing in December. Circuit Judge Letitia announced the sentence during a brief hearing. Loyd was already serving a life sentence for the murder of his pregnant ex-girlfriend, Sade Dixon, which occurred a month before Clayton's death. The prosecution had also sought a death sentence in that case, but Loyd received a life term as the jury voted against a death sentence. During the trial, Loyd's mental health was a significant issue. He claimed to have acted in self-defense and that he was insane at the time of the shooting. Clinical psychologists testified that Loyd suffered from delusional beliefs. Despite this, the judge ruled that he was competent to continue with the sentencing hearing. The defense also argued that Loyd had suffered brain damage during his arrest where he lost an eye. However, the officers involved were cleared of any wrongdoing. Orlando Police Chief Orlando Rowland stated, although nothing can undo the heartache created by the defendant's heinous actions, we hope that this brings solace to our community, knowing a dangerous murderer will face the highest penalty provided by the law. Loyd is currently housed at Union Correctional Institution. On April 26, 2022, the Florida Supreme Court heard oral arguments for an appeal by Loyd, who was sentenced to death in March of 2022. The appeal was heard in Tallahassee, where Assistant Public Defender Nancy Ryan and the state prosecutor Doris Meacham presented their arguments. Ryan argued that the state had misled the jury and made misstatements that should be considered structural errors. She contended that the prosecutor minimized the role of jurors in Florida's capital sentencing process and misstated the law defining premeditation. Ryan also criticized the use of music played over photos of Lieutenant Deborah Clayton as an attempt to elicit an emotional response from the jury. Meacham countered that many of the defense's claims were taken out of context. She said that the prosecutor did not tell the jurors they were obligated to come to a unanimous verdict, but should try their best to do so. Meacham also argued that the prosecutor did not tell the jury to disregard Loyd's mental capacity, but reminded them that a judge had rejected his insanity claim. The justices did not conclude that the music had any effect on the jury's decision. Florida Supreme Court spokesperson Paul Fleming stated that there is no schedule for a final deposition and that the court would continue to deliberate the case. This is one of those cases that is horrific in nature and something that you just sometimes takes a while to comprehend, but that is all I have for this one. I will link everything that I can find in the description box below. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're going all the way until August 1st. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.